My name is Cherie Fishbaugh, and I'm the Director of Autism Services here at Westchester University.
Can you please tell us about Westchester University and the surrounding community?
Sure. So here at Westchester University, we are a medium-sized public school, public institution right outside of Philadelphia area. So we house anywhere between 17,000, 18,000 students. So we're a liberal arts school offering a variety of different majors. We have undergraduate, masters, and I think 4 or so doctoral programs offered here at the university. We just actually got our R2, or we just were identified as a Research 2 institution in the past year. So that's very exciting for the university itself. We have over 300 organizations at the university, and it's very much so a community here in the Westchester area. So when I think about that, I think of the university kind of feeds into this, what we call in the Pennsylvania area, borough of Westchester. A lot of community partners, a lot of small businesses in the area. And I would say primarily the age range within our community is more of that middle age community with a lot of startup type of businesses that stay within families.
Can you please tell us a bit about the DCAP program at Westchester?
Sounds great. All right, so here at DCAP, which stands for the DCAP Autism Program, we provide services and supports for students who are matriculated here at Westchester University. So that can be an undergraduate degree or in a graduate degree. First question I typically get is, what does DCAP mean? And DCAP is actually slang for Westchester. So the D stands for West and the C stands for Chester. And so the slang of the borough is DCAP. So that's how the program was named. When I look at, even from the name of our program, was very much so devised by our students. So I knew when we were starting the program, I helped start it back in 2016, and March of that year, had run some focus groups, and I invited students in to talk to us about if we had a program on campus, what would they want? And a big thing came around the name of the program, where I had many experts that were saying, Cherie, don't put autism in the name of your program, students won't come. But I actually wrote it down on a Post-it note, specifically from one of the students that said, Cherie, if you don't put autism in the name of the program, how are my friends supposed to find me? And they chose to keep it, to have DCAP Autism Program known as DCAP.
What are the primary support areas you focus on for the DCAP program?
These are the 6 main areas to focus on. And we're getting this from the research as well. And that was executive functioning. It was looking at independence, the self-advocacy, social integration, as well as looking at career and employment development. The other factor that was in there were academic supports. Here at DCAP, we don't necessarily have that academic supports. We're talking about tutoring, but we do have the academic supports that fall under executive functioning. So that time management, organization, how do we chunk tasks together, right? And bring that in. How do we break down that syllabi for you, that rubric, to understand what is needed, using graphic organizers, whatever it may be, to help that student be successful. We actually approach each one of those sections by being able to have the student actually write their own semester goals, as well as each week when they come in, they pick 3 of those 5 areas and they write a short-term goal for the week. So it might be, I need to devise my schedule for the week that includes the extra tutoring that I asked for, my therapy session, and remember I have a studio hour. So can you help me fit in these extras that maybe I didn't have last week into this week? How do we use the social model, right? Of, instead of the medical model of always looking at deficits, how do we look at how the environment actually impacts how we are relating to others or being successful? So when I look at how DCAP comes together to approach it, I use my background in applied behavior analysis to break things down, to be able to teach repetitively, to be able to generalize those same skills to different areas in which the students have chosen to work on, and then using those evidence-based practices to do that, but really making sure that I value the students' input and on doing that.
About how large is the DCAP program?
So currently, we started in 2016 with 4 students in our program. Now here in 2024, as we finished up the fall semester, we have roughly 100 students that are part of our program. We call them members. We want them to recognize that this is a resource for you. It's not something that you are obligated. I can't make you come. That we're here to help you to kind of connect the dots on our campus, to help you find the resources and support you to be successful while you are here. Majority of our students do live on campus, so it's about I would say a 65-35 split, where our commuter students, making sure that this becomes, here at DCAP, this becomes a place that they can hang out, that they can hang out in between classes. They can do their work here. We have sensory rooms downstairs that they can sit in and kind of decompress from the day. We have a therapy dog that's here every day that they can come in and relax with. But also in that, thinking of, our students that are here full time versus our students who are commuting in, of really building up and having that connection to our off-campus and commuter services as well. So they know that it's not just DCAP, but there's also a space across campus too that you can feel welcome, and making sure that feels welcome for our students as well.
How do students learn about and join DCAP?
Absolutely. So there are many different ways that we meet our students coming in to DCAP, or they're inquiring about DCAP. So many of our students actually come to us while they're in high school and start inquiring. Westchester has a lot of feeder schools and is known to be more of one of those schools where people are commuting in from nearby. So a lot of the attraction comes within 2-hour radius of Westchester University. So when I look at that, we have a lot of connections with our local school districts. And in that, we provide then 3 types of transition programs. So our students are coming to us usually in their sophomore year, beginning their junior year. They can come for a 3-day, 2-night experience just to have a feel of campus, to see what it's like to live on campus, what they might be looking forward to, what type of resources. So when they go out their junior year to really start looking at campuses, they are able to say, hey, I really liked this piece of residential life, or dining hall, I'm looking for this, or for resources when it comes to disability, I want to go here, or writing. So really being able to have those questions ready for them. Do they like more suburban, urban, rural areas? And then when they come into their junior year, or when they're graduating from their junior year into their senior year, we offer a 5-day, 4-night experience for the students. And so it gives a little bit more into what you should be asking and looking for as you're trying to make your final decisions of what university you're looking at. And we also bring in actually our fellow universities within the area that have autism support programs, because as directors, we're all working together to find the right fit for that student. So we're not in competition with each other. We have phone calls often back and forth talking about, hey, I have a student that may be better fit for your program. So we usually have about 5 to 6 other directors that come in at the end of that week to be able to talk about the programs within the area that the students should be visiting during their senior year as well, that offer autism supports. And then the last transition program that we offer happens to be a 12 day, 11-night program. So that's over 2 weeks. That includes the weekend to give them that opportunity to understand that it's really important to get off campus too and explore the borough, and to how do you get connected with your community. So we offer that program. So with those 3 programs in place, a lot of times I know the students that are coming in already are applying to DCAP. We also have, many inquiry nights, and again, having guidance counselors and transition coordinators working with us. So that's how a lot of times students find out about our program. And then what we end up doing is once the student has applied to Westchester University and has been accepted, so it means, yes, you have met Westchester University's requirements to be accepted into the university, then we ask for the application for DCAP. Our requirements to be a member of DCAP is 1, an autism diagnosis or something similar, right? Looking also at a recent psychological evaluation within the past 3 years, and having the student's IEP or 504 plan if available, right? So we ask for those 3 things to be part of their application. They fill out the application online, it comes in. A lot of times I get questions such as, does anybody ever get denied? Do you ever turn anybody away? No, because they're coming here, they've chosen to come here, and I would rather be proactive and have them part of our program than to deny them access to the program. And but then secondly, I look at, is this the right fit for them? So if I have a student who is coming through CAR, like I said, many of them come through our College Autism Readiness Retreat, which are our transition programs. If I have somebody coming through there and I don't think that this is the best fit for them, I think they need higher level of support, then I start to talk to them immediately about a higher level of support program. Let's find the place where you're going to be most successful, and let's get you in contact with that director. So once the student fills out the application, it comes in. If I do not know the student, then I ask for an interview so that I can talk to them. And I'll be blunt. One of the first things I am asking them is, why do you want to be a part of DCAP? And the reason why is for that infamous question of what would be the number one reason why a student is not successful within DCAP, and that is if they are made to come here. If it is an ultimatum by parents of, you're not going to college unless you get a support, you must be a member of the support program on campus. If they feel like it's something that's mandated on them, then you've already set us up for failure, basically. We want students to be able to come here on their own will, and to recognize that we are here to support them, not here to tell them what to do.
How do you support student mental health?
So I work a lot with our VP of Student Health and Wellness, with our care team. And unfortunately, my students happen to be one of the highest frequency of students that are being reported to the care team due to mental health. So something that I worked on just this past semester actually is working with some of my community partners and looking at how we can contract with them to have space here on campus to come and see my students from a long-term standpoint. So we were able to set up a contract with them to have space here 1 day a week. 1 to 2 days a week to come over and see specifically our DCAP students that are on their caseloads, to be able, so they don't have to worry about transportation. It can be in person versus Zoom, which is something that our students were really looking at, and knowing that these therapists actually are well equipped and have a great experience with autism.
How do you support DCAP students in terms of career development?
When it comes to employment, I wear a pretty big hat in this field. So what I mean by that is the daunting statistics of 85, 90% unemployment post-graduation was something that's always been in the back of my mind, and knowing how hard employment is for anyone, and then you add autism on top of that, was daunting to me. So I am a founder and on the board for Neurodiversity Employment Network here in the Philadelphia area. I'm very involved within the community of building up neurodivergent hiring initiatives throughout not only Westchester, but within the Philadelphia area. We focus strongly on employment skills and career development throughout the students' time here at DCAP. By the end of the first semester, we're looking at having some sort of a resume up and learning how do we build upon that. So a key partner here on campus is our Career Development Center. We have our own liaison who is there. We actually have something that we started pre-COVID called our Connect and Learn Meetup. So we won the Eastern as well as the National Association of Colleges to Employment Diversity Awards for our COM event. So basically it's like a reverse job fair. So we match actually our students with employers, and we are able to then set our student down. They all make portfolios now, so they are actually on their computers to be able to showcase their skills. And they sit with an employer for about 10 minutes, and then we say rotate, and the employers stand up and they rotate to the next table and get to meet that student, and they get to showcase their profile. So we actually took our COM event here from Westchester and actually started doing 2 events through our Neurodiversity Employment Network per year with job seekers of the community, and doing it the same way. There are COM events that are for any job seeker that is in our community that would like to practice those skills. We also, I mean, what I found too was that I was having trouble within the community finding partners that would hire neurodivergent individuals. And so finding those internships, how do we bring up the employment that's available, was really, really hard within the community. So what I also ended up doing was just partnering within the university and saying what departments need assistance and how can we assist. So we started small. So the library was our first employment place that we asked for students to be involved in. So now we have people in our business and finance department. HR is looking at hiring some of our students. And I think the big part is when our students see that they are valued in these different departments, it's been incredible to watch their confidence grow, as well as it helps me see what do they like, what do they not like. And currently we have believe it or not, a gym in town that was starting up. It's an alumni of Westchester University, and we happen to be acquaintances from years ago, and that I met at a coffee shop. And he said, I'm starting up this gym. I want it to be all accessible. And that's all he had to say to me to start me to realize, like, what do you mean by accessible? And so not only was he making his gym accessible, but he wanted to be able to employ neurodivergent individuals too. So he has anywhere from 4 to 6 of my students working with him on marketing plans, doing research for him, doing social media, graphic designs for him. So it's really exciting because a lot of times people think a gym, what does a gym have to do with neurodivergence and neuroinclusive hiring? Now he's fully functioning, right, as a gym, and it's up and it's going, and he has more and more job opportunities, and has really created this whole orientation plan as well as internship plan for our students.
Thanks for that. Can you tell us about some of the exciting study abroad opportunities you're offering?
Awesome. You're welcome. All right, so one of the areas that we started developing a few years ago was this interest in taking our students abroad. So what we were seeing from our international office is that there were a lot of study abroad programs, but they were not necessarily set up to be successful for our students. So working with our global engagement office, we decided to create these more sensory-friendly trips for our students. So we created a faculty-led 10-day excursion for our students in which from the moment that we started, we really started including their voices as to where they want to go, and did assessments and found that they really wanted to go to Europe. Was one of the top places. And so through some research, I found that London was extremely autism friendly. I said I wanted to keep it small, from 8 to 10 students who would be able to go, because keeping it smaller makes it so that we too can help minimize the crowds, the noise, and make sure there's enough hands on deck to be able to help. So it's devised to be 8 to 10 students, and being able to have 3 faculty or staff members involved with that. So our first trip was to London. The students were involved in the activities that we did, the number of breaks in between, how many group dinners versus dinner on your own or lunches, what type of breaks it would consist of. They were also on free days. They had a staff or faculty member that kind of led their group to what they want to do, but they got to pick, like, what would you like to do? So in London, we had students go and see the Royal Gems, jewels, and then we also had students that went to go on the Eye of London, and we had students who just wanted to go shopping, right, in Oxford. There were times that the students would go and they would read in the park, or just sit and listen to music with one of the faculty members. But in that, it was really giving them that freedom to be able to choose, start to recognize when things were starting to become overstimulated, when not. And then last year, they had picked to go to Italy. So we took the students to Italy. We took 9 students, 5 of whom had gone to London with us as well. And when we went to Italy, we found out that it was not nearly as autism friendly as London. But part of devising these programs is getting that feedback from our students and making sure they understand, like, what do we do to get them ready, like from language to social culture to understand that they can take breaks, and that it's okay, and they are reinforced to take those breaks, making sure that they know exactly what to expect. We tell them the agenda the night before, and then they go over it again at breakfast and over it again at lunch, and then as we end the day again. So, but this year we'll be going on our 3rd trip, which is very exciting. We're going to Ireland. We will be visiting, in Ireland, we'll be visiting University of Dublin, which is the first autism-friendly university that was created. We will start our pre-planning starting in February to get our students ready to go to Ireland. And in addition, this summer, we will be piloting for the first time a study abroad for 3 weeks in London at Roehampton University, in which we've been planning for the past year and a half to make sure that our students have enough support, not only academically at the university and to be able to help, but also on the weekends and in off time, so that they have excursions to go to. So we're very excited to pilot that study abroad experience this summer as well.
Congratulations for being named the College Autism Network's 2024 Program of the Year.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to say, we were greatly honored to be chosen the College Autism Network's Program of the Year here in 2020. One of the things I'm truly proud of, that I do think that makes us a unique program, is our student engagement and involvement. Taking students again for the 2nd year to present, and they are the ones presenting. I'm sitting in the audience watching, typically, giving them that opportunity. We are a very student-driven program here, and listening to people recognize that is huge. Being there to win that award having two of my ambassadors with me who have been a part of this program for the last 3 to 4 years was incredible. Giving them that award, because I feel like our program wouldn't be here without the self-determination and the impact of that our students have on this program, and helping me continue to devise it to hit their needs and what they want. I also, the innovative piece, I would love to take all the credit for that too, but that truly is the impact of our students and them responding. They will tell you, I survey them all the time and constantly I'm asking them, but when you get a 70% or above response rate to your surveys, why would I not keep asking them? I think it's really important to build a program based on what your students need and having that student representation, having and recognizing that you are a part of this program, you are building this program, and you are equal to all of us as full-time staff. That's what continues to build. So when I think about the innovativeness of DCAP, I say to my students all the time and to my staff, if all of a sudden we're staying status quo and Cherie's just like, okay, yeah, everything looks great, this is where we're at, that tells me that it's time for me to retire, because I have definitely given up, or I don't have the passion for it anymore or something, because I know that we're going to continue to evolve, continue to provide supports that the students want and need. So yeah, I just have to say, like, this program would not be what it is without the voices of these students. And they help guide me and continue to help build day in and day out.
Big thanks to Cherie Fishbaugh and the DCAP program at West Chester University. Please subscribe to Inclusive Academia.